Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely storming through the day. And next on our agenda today, we have our very first panel discussion, a talk amongst titans. And we are certainly joined by industry titans here today. Now, on this panel, we'll be joined by Kaan Terzioglu, Group Chief Executive Officer of Vion, William Baubeen, Managing General Partner of Orbit Startups, Jimmy Gwen, Founder and CEO of New Wind Global and Senior Advisor, Prism Carbon Solutions LLC. And this panel will be moderated by Saqib Ahmed, Managing Director of SAP Pakistan, Iraq, Bahrain, and Afghanistan. So, Saqib, over to you. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our esteemed panel.
Thank you very much, Ji. I think since morning, we are in the hands of the financial gurus, and now this is the time to take a little bit more vibrant tech gurus to take over this conference moving forward from here. I think just setting the ground loose, we have almost 40 minutes of this panel. We'll be going around with the two sets of questions. One will be from the global angle, and the other one will be from the Pakistan angle. I think each panelist will have 3 to 4 minutes to answer that one, with a 5 minutes opening from me and 5 minutes ending coming from my side. So let's, ladies and gentlemen, start the panel with the discussion, what matters now? I was going through since morning of all the discussion of what matters now, and I realized that this definition of what matters now is different in different eras. You start from the 70s, and I recently just had my 50 years pretty soon. I come from the era of 1970s. Just finished the university in the 90s, and what matters now was, for me, a good degree, a good job, and a stable life and a stable life ahead. I entered into the era of 2000 when I started with the new career over there. The life, what matters now, was also going very well, because what I thought that I will be doing this job which will be there for the next 30 plus years, and it will be the repetition of the things that I will learn in the first 5 years, and then it will be continuing to be done and established over the period of next 25 years. So life looked like sorted on that very moment, and looks like we are in the right track of what matters now. And somewhere in 2007, it hits when suddenly the technology started coming more in our lives. And suddenly, what was going on a relatively average pace in the past 25 years just suddenly changed the pace of our lives. The technology starting entering, and suddenly the definition of what matters now keeps on changing on a very fast pace. I ended the career, and I got the job of an MD at the age of 43, and I thought, wow, that's nice. I got it in a good time. And suddenly realized that my global CEO is 39 years old, and he is going to drive the whole company. The definition of what matters now is completely changing in the era that we are talking about today. Gone were the days where the experience was lying in the heads of the people, and there were the people who were leading the organization was based on their experience. Because now the experience is available everywhere. It all depends that in which era, it depends on at which country, and it depends on which transformation journey that we are in, that keep on changing the definition of what matters now. I think if I will end up my opening note with the comment over here, I think what matters now today is that we should be, apart from doing all the other extensions that we are doing, we are able to extend the university vice chancellor's tenure as well, that can help this country moving forward also. I think apart from the Aini Tarmeem, if the educational Tarmeem can be done also in the same vara and same passion that we see today, I think that matters now for us as well. That is really important. I think increasing the number of the judges is really important, but I think increasing the number of educational institutions and increasing the skill development programs that are required by the youth of this country is equally important, and I think that agenda should be also rolled on, which really matters now at this very point of time. I think these are some of the things on the priorities that this country needs, and that's what we'll be discussing today. I think in the panel today, we have a very esteemed guest, And what we'll be requiring in this panel and what we require to be learning is, what are their international experiences, how they see what are the global trends, and we need to also analyze in this one how we are going to use these global trends in this country and help this country grow as well. So take benefit on the overall dimensions that these people will be talking about. So let me start the discussion, if allow Mr. Khan, if I can start the discussion from you over here. And my first question will be about the innovation and sustainability that we talk about today. The telecom industry is evolving on a very, very rapid pace. The 5Gs and the AIs has been the talk of the town at this very point of time. What are the biggest innovations or shifts that you see is shaping the future globally? And how is the VEON group preparing themselves and overall in Pakistan as well for this sustainable future?
Saqib Saab, thank you very much. Let me first start a big thank you, Asfar, to you and your team for putting these type of platforms together. This is where the seeds of trust is seeded and confidence gets built, and our next decade of excitement is being shaped. It's been 30 years that Pakistan has trusted VEON with its telecommunications infrastructure. And through those 3 decades, we have invested over $10.7 billion in this beautiful country, and we hope actually to continue with our investments. Pakistan Zindabad. Now, of course, this question, what matters, is exactly the same question we ask ourselves as we reimagine our business. Today, VEON is a frontier markets digital operator. It's not only a telecommunication company anymore which sells number of gigabytes, number of minutes, or number of SMSs. But it's a company that takes the frontier markets and changes the perception of frontier markets from being exception to be tolerated to offering exceptional growth opportunities. In the countries that we operate in, including Pakistan, Bangladesh, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, almost 500 million people live. And people are hungry for services. They are underserved. They are not served properly in the area of financial services, entertainment, healthcare, and innovation. And exactly that matters. That's why we reimagined our business as a consumer and enterprise services company. A services company that uses the most advanced technologies to make sure that our customers in these frontier markets gets the service that they deserve. And that's what innovation and sustainability for us means. When you operate in a country like Pakistan, 240 million people, I am so excited about the 400 million Pakistan picture over the next decade as well. But the question here is, how do we make sure that at a fraction of a cost, that the healthcare services that are available today to the richest person in the earth is available to everyone in Pakistan? How can we make sure that the education services that are available to a privileged group today, available to everyone at a fraction of a cost? And that is only possible if we use today the resources we have to build the technologies that will shape the way to deliver these services. In the last 3 years, we have successfully executed our strategy in terms of developing services in Pakistan. Pakistan data has to stay in Pakistan. Pakistani engineers has to process that data. They have to build Pakistani digital services to create jobs and to pay taxes. That's how the vision that delivered us entertainment platforms like Tamasha, financial services platforms like JazzCash, insurance platforms like Fikr Free, or education platforms like Parho. These services are essential to the future of efficiency and productivity of the country. But next step is even more exciting and important. Let me first say maybe a controversial thing. There is nothing artificial about artificial intelligence. This is us. It mimics us. It learns from us. It's all about augmenting skills and competencies of people, making sure that the local languages have a chance to survive, not assimilated or eradicated from the land, but Punjabi, Urdu, lives with the augmented intelligence capabilities that, again, Pakistani engineers will build. Through those, we will develop the services of the next generation of educational infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure. I am so excited about the recent agreement that we have signed with NUST, as well as the Ministry of Information Technologies in Pakistan. Amir, under your leadership, I am sure we are going to create super augmented intelligent agents that is going to make the doctor in Islamabad the best doctor in the world, the teacher in Karachi the best teacher in the world. And we will allow delivering the services Pakistan deserves. Now that's the innovation that I would like to see happening, and we are committed to delivering that in Pakistan as well as in other frontier markets. It's great to be back in Karachi. As a Turk, when I'm here, I always feel at home. And I noticed that you are looking to certain economies. Mr. Governor, please look to Turkish economy. There are more things to learn, what to avoid. But sometimes it's also good to learn from the failures. I highly recommend that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khan, and I like the passion that you're talking about. I think the important point that is highlighted is about how we can make the impacts on the life of the people, and that's what the organization should look at. Apart from the revenues, the most important thing is when the people coming from outside who are investing in Pakistan, they are thinking about how they can make good doctors, how they can make good teachers, and how they can make the life of the people better. I think that's the key over here. Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Williams, coming over to you. You know, this startup culture, this innovation, its overall expectations from the investors, how to get the angel investors over there, how we can grow on this economy and being part of the bandwagon of the overall startup culture that we all started. There's a lot of expectation and there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are part of this country and looking forward for the guidance that we are looking forward. My first question to you is about how and adopting to the investor expectations over here. What are the main expectations? In this changing economic landscape, investor priorities have completely shifted because the base is completely shifting. What advice will you give to the startups that are present today, especially in the emerging markets like Pakistan? What is the evolving path that they need to take care about, and what are the priorities they need to be careful about?
All right, thank you. Yeah, so William B. and Orbit Startups, we're an early stage VC firm, and we are, the last time I checked, the most active international investor in the country of Pakistan with 25 investments. So I started investing in China in 2002, 2003. And if you look at China at that time, the total consumer spend was about $600 billion. Today, Pakistan is $300 billion. So at that time, China was only twice the size as a country of Pakistan today. Now, the value of the tech companies at that time, total value was $1.5 billion. Now, by the time I stopped investing in China in 2018, it grew to $3.5 trillion. Okay, so $1.5 billion to $3.5 trillion in value created. And at that time, the economy over the last 18-year period, it grew about 10x. But the value created was much greater. Now, one of the most important drivers of that is investment. So there's government policy, there's entrepreneurs, and Pakistan has many entrepreneurs, but there's investment. And one of the things that China did is they opened up. They made it possible for people to invest and then get a return. The number one challenge that Pakistan has today is that global investors are not investing here Because even if they invest in a company and that company does well, they don't know whether they can get the money out. They don't know if they can get an exit. They don't know if there's an ability, if there's a public listing either here or abroad, that they can make a return. So that needs to be fixed. Because in the second quarter of this year, the total international investment in Pakistan was exactly zero. There was zero investment in this country. Zero. And the funny thing is that the amount of investment from the people in this room, from the industrial and financial leaders of this country in Pakistan in the second quarter was also zero. You're not investing in your own country because the total investment in the country in the quarter was actually zero, both foreign and domestic. So for us, I think there's two things. As investors, we have to do what's right for the people, the limited partners that give us money. And we have to, we're very much focused on investing in Pakistan for Pakistan, driving economic transformation in this market. But in order to do that, we've had to help our companies go cross-border and go to the Middle East because there is not that investment happening both from international investors nor local investors in this country. So I'd encourage you to take a lesson from the China side, invest in the country. Take also a lesson from the China side. Make it possible to make money in this country, both for local investors and for international investors. And the bottom line is we're investing. I'm the most active international investor in the country. I think I'm actually the most active investor in this country. It shouldn't be somebody coming in from the outside. It should be all of you. Thanks.
A little reality check by him, let's be honest. And what he's saying is, you are asking the investment from outside, what you are investing in your own country, that's the bigger question. And to be honest, sitting in this room, I think we all need to ask this question over here, how much faith we are having on this one. Because people like Williams are there and they are committing to this investment that we are talking about in Pakistan, but we need to do our role. That is absolutely important over here. Jimmy, coming to you. My friend, I was sitting over in the crowd and I was sitting with Fatma and she showed me that in the Lahore, the index of air index today is crossing 1500 plus. Man, the world's polluted city right now that we are talking about. And it reminds me of my school days. When I started school, I realized that there is an ozone layer and there is a hole coming in there. I read it, but I thought this is not my problem. This is not my generation's problem. Yes, this will be somewhere 3-4 generations round. It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my problem today. This is your problem today. The overall carbon emission that is impacting overall across, and to be honest, we are in the middle of this one. My question to you, Jimmy, is building on this narrative over here today is exactly, you are being working the sustainability forum overall, and what is the most immediate actions that government and agencies need to do to make sure that we are coming to this net zero goals as close as possible, and knowing that what are the priorities of each country and what are the finances of each country that are present in the respective roles as well. What are these things that we need to take action now to make it work?
So I was born in a developing country, Vietnam, born in Saigon, but where people could pronounce my surname Nguyen, but then brought to the United States as a baby where I grew up in Los Angeles, where people could not pronounce the name and people call it Nguyen. So I've just embraced it as my personal brand. And from a business perspective, both with technology, climate change, any developing growth, I'm a firm believer that to challenge these difficult problems, you have to create win-wins, meaning you have to make it easy to implement when you're trying to solve something difficult, whether it's blockchain, which I've worked in for the last 10 years, it's hard to implement, you have to make it easy. And then secondly, you have to create the win of showing money. If people can see, whether it's a government entity, a private company, a consumer, that they can make money off of an implementation, then it's much more likely that they'll be able to help you implement. So let me give you a couple of examples that I'm involved with around the world in my work in blockchain, AI, and now some work in sustainability fields that I think can be implemented. In fact, I'm looking for partners to implement them here in Pakistan. So if you're one of them, I would love to talk to you. And it comes down to creating win-win solutions to both reduce emissions that are coming out of carbon dioxide and then offsetting them. So in the offsetting column, one of the companies I'm a senior advisor to is called Prism Carbon Solutions. It is formed in the Abu Dhabi Global Market, ADGM, which is a very prestigious market. It is a vertically integrated carbon credit marketplace. And I'm going to use that phrase a lot for win-wins, vertically integrated solutions. And what we do is make it as easy as possible for the owners of forest lands to actually tokenize and monetize carbon credits from the trees that are on their land that have a lot of money value today, but they don't know how to tokenize it, get it on carbon credit marketplaces. And so that's a hard thing that people have tried to do in the blockchain space. We try to create an all-in-one solution where we go to the owners, typically government entities, sometimes private companies, of land that have a lot of dense forests and say, give us the contract rights to monetize that. We will then take the steps to do the certification, validation, and verification of the forest land, to check the density of the trees, the type of trees, and calculate the estimated money value of the carbon credits from that plot of trees. They're split into parcels. Then we create and also use satellite technology to do that as efficiently as possible and send in then an accredited independent investigative team to then manually verify it. We put this on a blockchain digital registry so that all of the data that is associated with each parcel of land which we have verified is then contained in an NFT, actually a really good use of NFTs, so that the public and the companies buying the carbon credits can actually then verify that this is true and verified. Because carbon credits have to be renewed annually, and therefore you make more money on them annually, this happens every year. So the blockchain becomes what it's meant to be, a time-stamped, chronological record of events that is publicly verifiable for the value of those carbon credits. And then most importantly, we partner with very regulated entities, such as regulated banks, to custody the digital assets, the NFTs, and to custody the money. And then we've also partnered with someone who can lead us to the buyers of the carbon credits, big emitters who need to offset their carbon emissions. Why do I tell this whole story? Well, if you go to landowners like here, the government owns forest land in Pakistan, and say, let's do carbon credits, they won't know what to do. So what matters now is making it easy for them with a vertically integrated solution that says, we'll take care of everything. You do not have to pay us anything up front. And then secondly, the second win, you'll make money that you're not making now. It's untapped revenue. So to give you just an example, we've got deals now in Russia, Uzbekistan, Sri Lanka, and Oman, working on Belarus and Kazakhstan. Pakistan is not the most forested country in the world. Only about 5% of your land is forested. But with 1 million hectares of forest, that on average can generate, in our estimate, $500 million of carbon credit revenue per year, annually renewable. In Russia, we have a pilot project in the city of Yekaterinburg with 55,000 hectares, which when you cut out the lakes and the things without trees, nets out to about 38,000 hectares. We believe when we launch that, we can generate that landowner $20 to $25 million annually in revenue in carbon credits that they're not getting now. So we'd love to do that in places like Pakistan and other places, but it means what matters now is making it easy to do. And the second quick example I'll give you about sustainability is taking things like Vian is doing, data centers, infrastructure, and powering them with 100% sustainable renewable energy. Because that is key to both making money for new revenue sources that Vian's doing, not just providing mobile services, but doing it in a way that's easy. So another company I'm advising is called Nscale. It's based out of Norway and has sites also in the US. They used to host crypto data center, but now they are actually moving to powering AI cloud services. So a company like Vian, other telcos like an Etisalat can use this complete solution to host, buy NVIDIA GPUs, have them shipped to the data center, and they can then sell to their business and other clients, not just telephone, mobile service, but the actual ability to run, if you're a business, your own AI products without paying the higher amounts that the big tech forward giants would charge at Google, AWS, Microsoft, et cetera. So it's bringing down the cost, democratizing AI, using 100% sustainable energy sources that therefore help offset carbon emissions, and more importantly, reduce the carbon emissions that your country or its businesses would otherwise use. But it takes complete solution and showing people like Avion they can make money by implementing this easily.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, and very rightfully pointed out. Ladies and gentlemen, this carbon footprint is our problem. And you know what is our other problem is? Till a problem hits us, we are not worried about it. We still think this is a problem of Lahore. We still think this is not hit us over here in Karachi or Islamabad. That's not our problem. Let's embrace it, that it's very important that we reach out to the farmers and tell them what is the impact of this carbon footprint that is going to impact on the lives of all of us. So we need to own. Thank you very much, Jimmy. I think you very rightfully pointed out there are means over there to do that one. Let me give to the second round of the questions. And Mr. Khan, coming back to you, you touched a little bit already about the impact that you are creating in Pakistan. I think one of the important things is about in Pakistan is the financial inclusion and the digital literacy. That is very, very much required. And I heard that how Beyond Group is trying to do that one. How do you see these global trends getting implemented in Pakistan, and how Beyond Group is seeking in the next 3 to 5 years the impact of this digital literacy and financial inclusion on the people of Pakistan?
Thank you, Saqib Saab. I think both issues, digital literacy as well as the financial inclusion, is really top of the mind issues for us, and it should be for you as a country as well. If we are serious about eradicating poverty and creating wealth, we have to understand that there is no recipe which can achieve doing this without increasing the productivity and without creating financial inclusion, especially for women. Now, productivity is very simple. If you increase productivity in a country by 1% every year, it's going to take 70 years to double the prosperity in the country. 3% brings you down to 50, 5% brings you to 14 years to double the prosperity. Just increasing the productivity. How does the productivity increase? It is increased through technology and digital solutions. That's why digital awareness is critical for a country like Pakistan. We have to make sure that people do have access to mobile internet, but people also do know how to utilize the internet. I sometimes get really sad. We set up a new mast, a tower in the middle of nowhere in a rural area, and turn on the 4G, and the consumption goes to video games. You know, the consumption should go to education. Consumption should go to productive things. And we need to make it a must to educate every children how to use internet, what to share, what not to share, protect them from the risks of cyberbullying, digital abuse. And these are the things that we cannot avoid not to focus on. And I'm really looking forward to having this digital awareness and inclusion in our every product that we do in Pakistan. On the other side, financial inclusion is so critical. Through our JazzCash platform, we reach out to 20 million people in Pakistan. Practically almost 7% of the entire GDP is transacted over JazzCash platform. Every single day, a person, maybe a housewife, gets a $30 equivalent of a credit to buy sugar, flour, eggs, maybe to cook cookies to sell. Maybe a taxi driver fills up its gas tank for a $40 to make sure that he has a chance to work for 2 more days. That's how wealth is created. And I'm so proud that in these days, more than 100,000 of these transactions takes place. And the women are the primary users of these platforms. And I think in the future, we have to continue focusing on digitalization of the economy. We need to make sure that today what we tax is actually equally shared in the economy. I hear a lot about retail businesses not being taxed enough. And I think through the digitalization and digital money transformation of the economy, we have a huge potential to incentivize everybody to use digital platforms to do business, to fund their business, and to improve their livelihoods. And I think those two things will become a real driver of our efforts in Pakistan. You will see us much more active protection of the children and education of individuals in terms of digital literacy, as well as improving the financial inclusion tools in the country.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khan. And he raised a very important point about productivity. What are one of our key challenges is we have a lot of time, and how much is our productive time over here? Just passing the reels on the social media is not productive. Rather, if in a 10-minute thought we need to read about the carbon footprint and the impact of financial inclusion, I think that will be more useful if we spend those 10 minutes to increase the productivity of us and the people that are around us. I think the most important challenge with the social media is about how we increase the productivity of that we can create around us. So thank you very much for raising this point. Overall, William, coming back to you, or back again, and I will again come back to you on the startup culture over there. Pakistan is a good market for that one, and people would like to know what are the next innovations that we should focus about for the startup culture, which can result in a more investment coming to the country, as well as the dimensions that we need to cover that can impact overall the global market as well.
Yeah, sure. So back in 2003, it was the first time I visited Alibaba in Hangzhou. And they had one floor in a building in the Hangzhou version of a Ignite NIC, National Incubation Center. They were that small. 2005, 2006, I worked with Jack Ma to help him go IPO, and it was the first IPO. And Alibaba was a pretty simple business back then. It was basically digitizing small and medium businesses, bringing them online, helping them drive revenue. So in Pakistan, where is the innovation going? Well, I think a core thing is digitizing the economy. China brought 750 million people out of poverty. We think there's an opportunity here. And so we're focused very much on the SMEs, the small, medium businesses, the Kirana stores. What do they sell? Basic stuff like food. We heard earlier from the minister, corn, maize, sugar, right? Even bread, shampoo. So we are investing in these models here. Now, one of the challenges where technology can play a part, where innovation can play a part, is Pakistan's been asked to raise more taxes, more tax revenue. There's no problem with that, but the question is how? How can you work with the tech platforms to do this? How do you leverage the power there? So we spent the last 4 years investing in companies that digitize these SMEs, that digitize these Kirana shops. And in the process, we've put many of the middlemen out of business. The local gangsters that basically take a tax but don't add anything to the economy. We reduced waste, and we cut out the middlemen, and these are all local Pakistani entrepreneurs. So these digital platforms are the new middlemen. So how can you leverage them? So IMF wants Pakistan to collect more tax revenue. That's fine, but how? The minister talked about, the private sector. How can you people in this room collect taxes? It's very difficult for you to do it. You're producing, you're selling into a channel, a huge channel, which is like $200 billion of revenue a year. So the key is how do you leverage the new middlemen, the digital platforms? Now, you cannot ask the digital platforms to deduct the taxes from their sales to the Kirana shops. The Kirana shops will refuse to buy from them. They don't want to pay 3% more. That does not work. And India tried this. India failed. So my advice is don't make the same mistakes that India did. The Kirana stores will be forced to go back offline and those middlemen will come back. The local gangsters that used to control the supply chain and have been mostly removed. So what's a possible solution? So I don't know whether this will work, but this is what worked in other countries. You know, one of the countries that hates taxes more than anything in the world is China. From Hong Kong to Taiwan to China, they hate taxes. So how did the Chinese government and the Chinese bureaucrats get Chinese people to pay taxes? Well, what they did is they put in a system, a digital system, where they turned the official government receipts into a lottery ticket. Okay, so if a consumer buys from an official store and gets an official receipt, they have the chance to make money. This worked in Taiwan, this worked in China, and it actually has already worked here. I think somebody told me that it's already been rolled out with restaurants here, where if you get an official restaurant, consumers have the chance to win money. And so we want to put tax collection in the power of the people who can drive behavior in the small stores, and that's the consumer. The consumer will only buy from stores that will give them an official receipt, that will give them a lottery ticket so they can win money. And the stores that are off the grid, who are not paying taxes, well, they'll go out of business because they're not giving that free lottery ticket out. So we've invested in 6 companies here in Pakistan, local founders that are digitizing micro SMEs and these Kirana shops. We're tracking over $6 billion US. This is post-devaluation, $6 billion US in transactions a month. The taxes are there, but the key is how do you collect them? And I'm happy to talk about potential solutions from other countries around the world that can be brought here, because the problems that Pakistan is facing have been solved elsewhere. It's nothing new. We just have to learn from abroad and then localize here.
No, thank you very much. And I think these examples were very, very much relevant. The only thing that I will say in Urdu only, just for that one, in transaction पर या lottery पर China में शायद फतवा नहीं लगता, यहाँ पे लग सकता है. So Jimmy, 2 minutes, my friend. Directly talking about a lot of talk on blockchain, a technology that can change the world. Tell me in 2 minutes how blockchain can change the life of the people in Pakistan and how this technology can help us.
Well, it's what our friends from Vion are focused on, financial inclusion with digital products. Bitcoin and blockchain, which I've worked in for 10 years, is of course popular in the US and big Western developed countries like the UK for crypto trading. But its true power is creating financial empowerment for people who are unbanked, where with a digital wallet that can be using blockchain-powered digital assets, stable coins, even a central bank digital currency, cryptocurrencies can pay more easily, can access financial products such as micro-lending through new types of lending liquidity pools. It's why I'm chairman of a company founded by a Pakistani in Dubai called InvoiceMate, which is proud to partner with Jazz and Jazz Cash through their mobile invoicing system, and powering both here and in the UAE SME invoice lending and financing factoring marketplaces, so a small business can get cash on their unpaid invoice faster. It's powered by blockchain technology to verify the integrity of the invoices and therefore convince the lenders that it's okay, less risky to lend. But then there's also just the payment and financial products. But what has stood in the way, especially in Pakistan, which is a very big crypto trading country, one of the top 5 to 10 in the world, is a lack of regulatory clarity. And I was happy to see just a couple of days ago that the Monetary Policy Committee of your state bank here in Pakistan proposed amendments to legalize and recognize digital assets, which is a key first step to getting businesses like I'm involved with here. I recently invested earlier this year in a new crypto trading firm and exchange, which has launched in the Philippines, another developing country which needs financial inclusion, which needs financial products. Those businesses that I'm involved with want to come here. They've been eyeing Pakistan as a big market, but are afraid to do so until there's regulatory clarity from the government that exchanges and other digital asset businesses have a licensed, authorized manner to work here. So if you're involved in this at all, please, please, please encourage your state bank to go ahead and take the plunge. It can be done safely in a regulated, safe way to cut out the criminals, to cut down money laundering, but to empower the use of digital assets and blockchain technology to power VION services, your financial wallets, and a greater financial win for the people of Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me wrap up in this way. Can you imagine why these three gentlemen that are sitting over there are here? You know, they don't need any position in Pakistan. They don't need, they are doing their business all across the world in all different countries. But why they are here? They are here and sharing how they are able to get some results out in different countries and how they can get it implemented in Pakistan. They are passionate about their belief in the country in Pakistan, and they are talking about how they can increase and growth and do their part in the betterment of Pakistan. They are talking about how the technology can take that mainframe and how it can get impacted on the lives of the people in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is थोड़ा हमें अपने ऊपर एतबार करना है. हमें थोड़ा अपने ऊपर भी इस चीज का एहसास करना है कि हाँ, we are the ones who are going to change this country and we are going to do it by sitting over here. You know, the brain drain and the options for each of us in this room are a lot. And it's very easy to go and have a great life outside Pakistan over there and be an individual that we can be. But the main aim is, if we have this country has given us a lot, this is the time to pay back to this country. This is the time to tell this matters for us now. This is the time to tell that this country matters for us now, and we will be there just to make sure that we are able to achieve. The people on the panel, they will give us whatever we can, but to be honest, till we will not do the actions that are required from us in the private and the public sector, things will not change. These conferences will happen, but if we are able to take one ask back, and one of the requests to me, going back to as far as just on the base of sustainability, you know, if we get back to the taking these water bottles out, and we only put the old black jugs of glass over here with there, I think we will be doing our role in the part of sustainability by doing this small step, getting this plastic out over here as well. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, my panelists, for being part of this complete discussion as well.
There are two news actually. One is the old news. Donald Trump won the elections. The second news is a very good news for Islamabad and Pakistan, that Jazz is opening their world headquarters in Islamabad next week. This is the building. And this is actually facing towards the Magala Hills. So congratulations to Jazz team and the VION team. Thank you. Jules, please come.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And a few really important topics that were covered here, and some that stand out to me is in the second quarter of this year, there was a lack of foreign and domestic investment in this country, except for William Balbeen. So thank you, William. But we need to drive investment for economic transformation. And overcoming these challenges is all about creating win-win solutions. So if there are any landowners here, Jimmy can help you monetize it with carbon credits, so go and speak to Jimmy. And lastly, the hugely important issue flagged is the digital awareness, and literacy is critical. So ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause. We'd like to present them with their souvenirs now. So I'd like to welcome onto the stage Augie K. Fabella, who will come and present these souvenirs along to our esteemed guests. Augie, please could you come onto the stage? And for our first presentation, we will be presenting Khan Terzioglu with his souvenir. Thank you. Round of applause for Khan. And next up we have William Baubeen, who will be presented his souvenir. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have Jimmy Nguyen. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And of course, not to forget our wonderful moderator, Saqib Ahmed. And please, we will present Saqib his souvenir now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Another round of applause.